they put Trey Moore in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
top
think
10.
Trey Moore
he's
is
getting a lot of national love, but he's got the stats to back it up.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody that I should have named him off, because if you saw, he was in the transfer portal, one of those guys that you really wanted to get because of what he could do. And the only issue with him is that he doesn't necessarily have the body type that you would normally put as a star edge.
Yeah,
but
he's moving out. Yeah,
but what his his stats so far and his track record so far would tell you that he is a really, really good edge. And hopefully he outplays even that at Texas, because if he comes in with that dog in him, that's still, that's at practice and getting beat around a little bit, and every day he's got to walk in as the smaller guy in the edge room, that'll get him fired up to go in there and try and prove some more people wrong as he goes throughout this year.
No, I totally agree with you. And it's interesting you said that about the body, because it's even more glaring how he's not undersized. He's just not. He didn't have the wingspan, the length, and the frames of the other guys like Ethan Burke and Colton Vasek. And hell, look what Barron Sorrell's done with his body. And then Colin Simmons coming in, it's just long rangey and freakish with NFL upside. So he doesn't fit that, but his BGO, he's probably got the best BGO out of all those guys. That's ball get off, and the BGO will be different. One thing that you'll be able to see just watching the spring game, the edges. Those guys are going to get off the football at the snap like nobody's business, like they haven't done in Sarks' tenure here, because he's got those types of athletes now on the edge. And I think Barron Sorrell and Ethan Burke will be better at it too. But he's the best natural pass rusher on the roster right now is Trey Moore. And that's why people are high on him, because if you're in a pass rushing situation, and he is more of an outside linebacker hybrid edge rusher to me. I think in the NFL, he'll just be kind of like a hybrid potentially player. That's why there's been talk, I believe Anthony Hill's the one that said it, that he's been, that he's been dropping back in coverage at times too. So I think in PK system, they understand we got to showcase that a little bit too. We can't just have rushing upfield on every down. There are going to be downs where we got him dropping back in coverage, because teams are going to try to put him in that situation. Or as a change of pace, a counter of some sort. All right, there you go. Some interesting conversation about the best players in college football, Texas. 3 of them in the top 15, as my man Patrick said. All right, so what do you expect to see? Here we go in the spring game. If I am coaching against Sark and defending his offense, I got a game plan against his offense. There are certain conceptual, schematic plays and just kind of really foundational concepts and plays for Sark that are really mainstays and go-tos for him as an offensive coordinator. And you see them over and over again. And you see them game after game, because those are the most popular concepts for Sark. They are the tent poles of his offensive philosophy. And running the ball, that is the wide zone, the inside zone, and the split wide zone, and the split inside zone. Those are the key running plays. He loves to throw in some counter tray in there. And then off of those 5 basic run concepts, which that is the bulk of their running game, they'll close out games by running duo, which is essentially a double team block at the point of attack. They'll close out games running duo, which Jay Wood says their favorite play. And they'll run it from that I call it a trident, but it's a tripod bunch where they have usually that tight end at the tip of the spear, if you will. They're the tip of that bunch, or that tip of the triangle, and they'll just pound teams in submission, running duo over and over again with combo blocks, duo blocks there at the point of attack. And so those are kind of the 6 ones, but you won't see, I don't think, a lot of that in the spring game, because they're not closing out an opponent. I think they'll run their bases, which are wide zone, inside zone, split wide zone, and split inside zone. And you'll see that counter tray. Now, off of those run concepts, Sark says his offense is a RPO-based passing game. So he's got RPO concepts off of all of those run plays. There's a GY counter tray RPO. There's an inside zone bubble RPO where they run the bubble screen on the outside, combined with the inside zone as the running element, but tag it with the bubble screen on the outside. There's the wide zone bubble RPO. Wide zone, but then same thing, tag it with a bubble screen on the outside. you're going to see that because those are staples in Sark's offense. The inside zone glance, kind of they call it a ghost glance, which is essentially a skinny post from the slot or a slot glance combined with the inside zone RPO. Definitely will see that because those are just the natural tags from their favorite run plays. A tag is a route that you add to it in the RPO concept. But then you'll probably see that slide wheel route glance RPO, which is the number one receiver running the post route. Number two runs that wheel concept, and the running back runs a flare route out of the backfield. You probably can see it if you've watched enough Texas football over and over again. Probably going to see that. They'll run mesh because Sark loves mesh on third down. He loves the mesh concept, essentially a pick or rub concept for the wide receivers, trying to pick or rub the DBs, get them caught up, get them lost in traffic, bumped off in traffic. You're definitely going to see the mesh concepts. And I don't know if Arch will throw. They're gonna throw the deep ball. Sark wants to implement the deep ball more, so he's gonna throw the deep ball. I think each quarterback will get like 3 or 4 shots. I think you'll get to 9, maybe even 10 total deep balls thrown in the game, depending on the weather. If the weather cooperates, maybe it won't. But if it does cooperate and they got some favorable weather, you'll see what Sark calls. Well, not Sark calls it. All coaches call it. It's a dagger concept. That's a vertical route by the number 2 receiver, a dig by the number 1, which is a 6 route, which is a 12 to 15 yards, and an in cut, and then you'll get a drag route coming from that backside. Sometimes it's an over, which is a deep drag route, kind of a deep drag route or a shallow drag route. You'll get an over and under on the backside with that concept. So you'll get that because Sark loves that concept. You get it time and time and time again. And also what he started using a lot of last year was the deep curl route. As a matter of fact, if you go look at explosive play rate, you're probably it's a max protect deep curl route, and he would run it a lot with Quinn Ewers. I don't know if he'll run it with Arch because I think Arch can throw it, but I don't know if Arch can make that throw. It's essentially an 18-yard curl route down the field. Quinn's great at throwing it because Quinn's got a cannon of an arm. Malik couldn't even throw it because Malik had a cannon of an arm. I know Arch has got a strong arm, but I don't know if it's that strong. That is truly an NFL throw. It's just deep curl routes. Like I said, 18 yards down the field, max protection, 2 receiver routes. But so you got a 40% explosive play rate out of that, 67% success rate on that concept, 72% success rate on first down, because it's not a route that DBs are instructed to have to cover in college because most quarterbacks can't make that throw. Once I start to cancel routes on the route tree as a defensive back, as you get deeper into your route progression, as you get deep into your stem, I'm canceling out he's not going to run the slant. If you're at 7 yards, you're not going to run the slant. You'll run the skinny post. You may run the post route, but you're not going to run the slant. You're not going to run the quick out. So you can almost start to cancel out routes as the receiver works their way down the field. And by the time a receiver gets to 15 yards, I'm thinking to myself, well, he's running deep. I might as well turn my hips and run because no matter what they're throwing, post route, post corner route, 9 route, it's going to be a deep route. I got to run. It's going to be a track meet. I got to stay on that upfield shoulder. But then this dude sits it down at 18, 19 yards. And I'm like, what the hell? As a DB, Patrick, I'm already running. I'm thinking about the deep ball. And then this dude sits it down at 18, 19 yards and runs a curl route in college. That's why that route concept is so effective. So I don't know if you're going to see it necessarily, but it is a mind blank to a young DB in college because you don't defend every route because every quarterback can't throw every route. You don't want to be defending ghosts. That's stupid. Right. But with Quinn, sometimes you have to because he can actually make those throws. He can make a throw of an out route from the far hash to the far sideline. We've seen him do it versus Bama in 2022. If he can do it versus Bama, he can do it versus anybody.
Yeah.
Those are routes I'm not supposed to have to cover in college because most quarterbacks can't make that throw. That dude can. Anyway, but so that's not good. But you also see a flood concept. Flood is when you have all 3 of your receivers in one region or area of the field. You flood a zone. You flood an area of the field. He loves the flood concept. So you'll see the play action flood concepts too. So there are a few of the concepts, a few of the plays, Sark's faves that you'll see in the spring game. I can guarantee you that.